It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skill by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
We thought the crisis rocking the Nigerian Basketball Federation, we thought it was actually coming to an end due to the elective Congress, which is scheduled to hold right there in Benin City, Edo State, October 30th. But at this point in time, it seems that the Sports Ministry and Musa Kida at this point in time, they are at a loggerhead ahead of the NBBF election. Also, a Nigerian coach has been banned by FIFA for 2 years. We are going to actually talk that in the course of the show. Super Falcons expect a rejig of the technical crew. That is actually coming from the NFF at this point in time. And Mo Salah, who is actually on 5 cylinders, he wants a 500 million pounds.
500,000.
Sorry, 500,000 pounds per week at this point in time. I thought it was million, but hey, it is pounds. This is how we welcome you to yet another edition of Sport Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni, and I'll be your host for today. As you can see, in the studio, 2 gentlemen waiting to talk sport. Salifu today is looking more relaxed. I don't know what is really happening, but Salifu, tell us how you doing today.
I'm good. I'm good to go.
Of course, Alpha, how you doing today?
Fine, always a pleasure to be here. And of course, plenty of trouble still in the NBBF house.
Of course.
Why on the following in the news we are expecting to hear has not been.
Has not been here.
The news will come.
Of course.
It's a process.
Of course.
Yes, it's a pipeline.
It's imminent at this point in time. But let's go through the business of the day, where we have, the crisis rocking the Nigerian Basketball Federation has actually taken a new twist at this point in time. There was a press release by the Sports Ministry, which was signed by the Permanent Secretary, stopping the NBBF from going ahead with the elective Congress scheduled to hold right there in Benin City, October 30th. And at this point, the caretaker committee chairman, talking about Engineer Musa Kida, is saying that the election will actually go on at this point in time. So it seems there is crisis at this point in time. Kida, which is actually looking at, because we all thought that Kida was the anointed candidate by the Sports Ministry, but at this point in time, Kida is actually going against the Sports Ministry. Salifu, crisis, left and center.
Well, I think Nigerians are already familiar with the crisis in Nigeria Basketball Federation. The crisis is no longer a new thing. It's been there for over 4 years now.
That's Musa Kida on your screen.
Since 2007, that's where the crisis started. But good coming to these elections, there'll be here and here, all of the players and the other stakeholders that were not in the symptoms between some of the team and the ministry what they intended to do. But unfortunately, and the ministry, those players, that is the Nigerian former players and other stakeholders cry out. You remember there's still a protest in Abuja here, raising their complaint, and the view of that is like the ministry have started having a distant ears and decided, okay, you can't hold this election, suspend this election indefinitely. But the biggest thing I wanted to correct from the notion, I don't think Musa Kida is no longer a caretaker committee chairman of the Basketball Federation, and I think he should drop that tag, because his time as a caretaker committee of the Nigeria Basketball has elapsed. I remember vividly when the Minister of Youth and Sport dissolved all the sporting federations and appointed the caretaker committee. Their time and the rest of that to serve for 3 months. that is going to the Olympic. After the Olympic, which at the end of the September, their time elapsed. We are already in November, October.
But as the ministry sent a letter to all the caretaker chairman stating that your time no being the caretaker, no chairman as allowed at this point in time.
Some federations have held elections.
But I don't think the ministry needs to send a letter because they give you times. For instance, if you are elected, you will give you a time and you know where your time to elapse. And your time, you shouldn't wait for any letter to say what you got to letter to packet it, and you shouldn't be used at that say it's still the caretaker committee, But other federation or other qualified caretaker committee have through the election and they are not in charge as new president of Washington, and some of them have people out of the office. So it shouldn't be used as saying that he's still the caretaker committee chairman. But one thing that another thing is that I was disappointed in Musa Kida. When the ministry came out with the statement that suspend this election, we like the ministry has oversight rule over the federation. Yeah, there's no doubt some of the federation enjoy some partial independencies in quote, but the ministries have oversight function all the sport federation. And at the same time, the ministry has also been using all this impacting and that's okay. No, this and because of the crisis, we don't want any further restoration of this crisis. We don't want any further spin of faction for basketball. So let's suspend this election for time. For him, if we were him, he should have kept quiet and find out from the ministry. For him to even come out that the latest sign written with the ministry by the PAM saying that the PAM said that the letter was not signed. Is it the one to cry for the PAM sake? The PAM sake to be the one to say somebody impersonating to Zlatan. Are you the one crying for the PAM sake?
No, but Alpha, looking at this scenario, we know that NBBF have a constitution, whether we like it or not, whether it's being ratified by FIBA or not. And at this point, since they have a constitution, because we know that before these federation elections, the Sports Ministry actually came out and said that those federations with a constitution, they will actually they can actually hold their election on their own without any interference from the Sports Ministry. But at this point in time, is it not the same Sport Ministry is now interfering with the situation and saying they should not go ahead with the election, having the Congress, which actually it was that same Congress that was actually held in Abuja. That same Congress, the PAMSEC was also in that same Congress, and the members actually agreed that the election would be actually go on right there in Benin City. But at this point in time, the Sports Ministry is now saying, "Hey, you guys, stop this election for now." But in all this scenario, do you think the Sport Ministry is over interfering in the affairs of the basketball federation?
Well, you see, just like Salif said, just throwing that line as well. You see, no matter how we want to paint the picture, how we want to look at it, the Ministry of Sports has, oversight functions on all the federations. In fact, all the federations operate like a subsidiary or an agency under the Ministry of Sports. And that is why even at the heat of this crisis, a point came when the minister had to summon both parties to intervene. So why was it that when the minister summoned, why didn't they say no, you don't have any right to summon? Why did they attend the meeting? So you can't choose what to obey or which directive to follow and the one not to follow. Ministry says, put a hold on your elections. And now you are saying, no, not put a hold. In fact, the ministry has no right. In fact, that's his word.
You can't shift the
the ministry does not have a right to do that.
At the middle of the game.
Exactly.
And I said, sorry, when the same ministry dissolved the board of the NBBF and appointed you as a caretaker commission. You didn't question it. You said, why should they intervene? Why exactly. You accepted it.
Exactly.
And at the same time, now the same ministry, okay, no, and at the same time, ministry is a government.
Yes.
And where are you holding the election? We are holding the election in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Me and you, him, as an independent person, may not know the information be available to the government. Exactly. And if government have a right to protect every Nigerian citizen. And if the government say, okay, based on what we have seen and the information available to us, the environment and the time is not right to hold this election, hold it for now. Suspend. They're not asking you to say, go and organize your election. But they say, suspend it for now. Then let's send through some of certain things. We don't have the security information what they have.
So of course, like
for him to start attacking them, to me it's not proper.
No, I'm just saying.
Like I was saying,
is it not the ministry over interfering?
No, it won't be a case of over interfering. Like we said, whether I like it or not, NBBF is still under the Ministry of Sport. So NBBF can not say on its own now we are going to do what we want. Okay, if they even go ahead to hold the elections, won't officials from the Ministry of Sports be there to monitor what's going on? So of course, exactly. So but these same people as the supervisory body are saying, hey, put a hold to this election. We are not saying that we ban you from holding elections, but suspend it for a while. Let's resolve. Maybe, like you said, there could be some information that they've gotten. Let's suspend this election. See how we can come to a middle ground. And before you hold on to election, then someone is saying, no, we must go ahead with that election. So, well, if he goes ahead to carry out his threat, let's see if he eventually holds the election. Let's see if that election will be valid.
Of course, because at this point in time, they are sending a letter to all the states telling them that the elections will actually go on in Benin City.
That is the joke of the census.
That's what I'm saying.
You shouldn't try it.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to say that sometimes we should try to be responsible for certain things. Sometimes even as much as you like, either the government wasteland is not on your own, it's not in your own line or what you want to achieve. But the fact that government has a responsibility to protect life and property of the citizens. And if government says no, because of the information we have, the timing now is not right. Hold on. They are not asking you to stop the election. They are not asking him to organize it. But hold on. But the time is not right. He may not have the security information what the government have. So for him to start coming out to attack, and Kida, for instance, he has a whole lot of TV. For me, election should not even be a priority for him right now. The same players he's using to make him mad that he has been doing. The people are crying that he owed them allowance. That issue has not been addressed. Up to today, he has not even come out personally to tell anybody anything. He's been invited by the federal House of Rep. He should go there and step the issue by himself. But there was an alleged by the Minister of Finance that they set him an amount of 1.6 billion was appointed and given to Kida in respect of all those things. And yet the players are crying. So he should go and explain himself before now. But election should not be a priority to Kida by now. He should settle all other issues surrounding the issues. And at the same time, for him to come out and start beginning to attack the ministry, it is not proper. If they ask him to suspend the election,
does it mean he's no more the anointed candidate of the ministry in court at this point?
I don't want to say that. For instance, if you remember, in 2019, INEC is an organized board of the election. Even the president of the country, who has absolute power over all the country, was in his home Daura to participate in the election. But all of a sudden, because of INEC said we can't go ahead with the election, and they suspend the election. Do they have him for? So if they ask you to suspend the election, first and foremost, the first thing is to come down, probably go back to the news and ask what happened.
Of course, so many injuries.
But to come out probably and start attacking them,
that was the same scenario that happened with the AF and the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. We saw that one faction actually went ahead to hold their own election in Kida, and another faction, which was actually backed by the ministry, actually had the election here. At this point in time, the faction that had the election in Abuja has been the one that the sport ministry has been supporting. So is it the case of whoever the government backs actually remains, the president?
Sometimes I don't know why he is considered like that. Because some stakeholders and even the players are saying no, because of the security. We are all in this country. We know how the security about this country is concerned. They say bring this election to Abuja. So if you don't have any issue, what you even do? Go back to the ministry and address or call the stakeholder meeting, address everything, and hold the election in Abuja peacefully.
Of course, even the Congress that was called by Kida, I think it was early this month or early this month. You need to actually see the huge, presence of the security operatives in that, in that venue. So, as it is now, a whole lot of crisis happening in the Basketball Federation, and sport administrators will tell you that we keep spending our money to develop basketball in the country. I wonder who will want to actually fight his way into a board of federation, and at the end of the day getting to spend his own personal funds.
They are the only patriotic Nigerians.
It only happen here in Nigeria at this point. Remember basketball at this point. We are straight to the news coming from the glass. I was talking about the Nigerian Football Federation, where they are saying that it is high time they are set to reject the Super Falcons technical crew at this point in time. This is actually coming from the Secretary General of the Federation, talking about Dr. Mohammed Sanusi. Looking at the Super Falcons performance so far in the last 5 games, do you think rejigging the technical crew is having more at this point?
Well, I mean, obviously, if we've seen how the Super Falcons have performed in the last 5 games, like you said, you see that the performances have been below par. You know, even in games where they managed to come out to draw, we also watched the game, saw that a lot needed to be injected in that team. So, if the NFF at this point in time feel that, you know, they need to reject the technical crew, there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in always trying to bring people who you think are more tactically sound, and bringing people who are experienced in this game, who can identify the problems, especially on the field of play. I mean, it could be that, I mean, the NFF also has a technical crew, so they might have observed some lapses in Super Falcons, and they feel, okay, if we rejig, you know, this technical crew, maybe they can be in improvement. And I think even going beyond that, like we said yesterday, apart from even rejigging the crew, I think it's high time, you know, the net is even thrown wider open in terms of inviting, you know, new and fresh players, fresh legs, because whether I like it or not, some players have overstayed their welcome in Super Falcons. Some players have been there for years and years and years. These are not the only players, you know, who play football in Nigeria. We have so many legs. So I think it's time to rejig not just the technical crew, but just to take a whole, you know, new look at the team and see where we need to make some changes, make some improvements, and make some additions if possible. And in some cases, if some people even need to exit the team, I mean, it's all for the good of the country. So it shouldn't be a case of just looking at the technical group. I think what the team as a whole needs to be looked into.
During the technical crew, should we look inward, or we should actually look for you know, personnel, you know, getting to, you know, to be added to the Super Falcons technical crew?
Well, to me, this is the best statement that has been for Nigeria football in recent time. Because for the first time that and I hope it's not just a political statement, it's not just a statement just because every Nigerians are trying, this team is going, this is not doing that, just okay, let's just appease them and say we are going to reject it. So I hope they will hold it to the letter, because it is obvious that the Super Falcons we have at the moment require a total overhauling of the technical team. I'm not in support of saying they should go outside. We have a local, we have female coaches, we have coaches who have done incredibly well as a Super Falcons in this country. So they should look in. We have Nigerian coaches who can do the job better. The 2 foreign coaches that they have brought so far, Thomas Tenebebe and this particular one, and the one particular, they have not done anything extraordinary different from what our coaches have done. To me, our own local coaches are even done far better than what they have done so far. Because how can we play the Super Falcons struggling against Ghana, struggling against
better side? You saw them in the World Cup.
The truth is, football has changed. So when it comes past, that is when Super Falcons we
dominate.
Yes, I agree that we are past that blow era, but it's still Super Falcons as an African champion who have won this title for 11 times shouldn't be strong against a minor time. For instance, look at we have our next match is against a Cote d'Ivoire, and the Cote d'Ivoire coach has started talking tough. The coach story, he started talking tough. That they have played Nigeria, and you know them, but you know them that they stop Nigeria from going to the Olympic. But at the same Cote d'Ivoire beat Nigeria Republic 11-0. That is the kind of scoreline, intimidating scoreline Super Falcons used to have. But now,
that's the change. That's the change of guard we are talking about, even in female football.
Just like
teams have improved, so you know that they don't no longer hold that.
Just like we said yesterday, we need. Forget what I wanted to say. We need to
all the players,
because even the player. And okay, what I'm trying to say, how can Super Falcons play only the last 5 matches? You like say. No, the striker struggle to score goal. Our top striker cannot even score goal.
The connection between the midfield,
it's not there,
and the wings is not actually there and all that. But it's not so sad. Let's just see how it pans out. Let's see who the NFF, let's say the plans that they have for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, because at this point in time they need to qualify for the Morocco 2020, not only qualifying, getting to the finals stage, first three, so that they can actually book a place in the Women's World Cup. That will be coming up in 2023. But we'll go for a short break now. When we come back, FIFA has banned a Nigerian coach. You get to know that particular coach after this short break. Also, we'll be looking for news coming from Igalo at this point in time. It seems that the NFF wants Igalo back to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and also we'll be looking at Mohamed Salah, who is demanding for £500,000 per week. Many more will come after this short break. Don't go nowhere.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome from that short break. We're still spot update right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. We head straight to our next story, where FIFA has actually banned a Nigerian coach who is the coach of Confirm FC of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Talking about Remy Madi, has been slammed 2 years banned by the global football ruling body over activities by some reports actually said that he actually he was involved in match fixing and all that. That is why he actually given a 2-year ban. But what does it tell about Nigerian football at this point in time? If we're getting banned by FIFA, always the last time we got banned was Mokachi, also Siasia. So sorry for that, Siasia, and also Salisu Yusuf, and now it is Amadi at this point in time. What does it tell us about the Nigerian football sector?
Well, I think our coaches need to be mindful of the way they carry out their activities. Football has gone globally. Whatever you think you are doing secretly now, you can be seen by any other person. So all you need to do is you have to be very, very, very careful, because having this ban, paper ban in your career, it is not good for your coaching career at all. But I think his own case is different from the Shia own. For the because in the sense that the Shia own, there was an alleged that he had attempted to do something which Shia is still fighting the case, and as he has getting some soft landing, reduce a ban, and even he's still appealing that no, because they are taking the matter to the court in the
He
US.
must be cleared.
Taking the matter to the court in the US. But this one, the case of Ahmadi, that it was actually banned. It was actually banned by the Nigerian Football Federation, and the disciplinary committee, after finding him wanting, and the disciplinary committee decided to write to FIFA to also looking into the report, and by people having examined the report from the Nigerian Football and decided to confirm the ban and make it worldwide effect. So, but I think 2 years, I hope that he will learn his lesson in these 2 years and came out stronger.
Of course, let's hope he get to learn his lesson and come back stronger. Away from that, still talking about football at this point in time. Do not bring back Igalo at this point. The fans are actually getting to warn the Nigerian Football Federation president, talking about Amadou Pini, because news report actually broke some few days ago that Amadou Pinnick is looking forward to bring back Igalo to the Super Eagles of Nigeria at this point in time. Alpha, the current squad of the team, do you think Igalo still has a space in the national team, or it is done and dusted for him?
As long as international football is concerned, for now, it's done and dusted. I mean, he himself, had thrown in the toil for, when it comes to international football. So I really don't know the rationale behind Pinnick's decision. You see, sometimes our football administrators looks like they just wake up and decide to take a decision, because you're bringing Igalo to do what? It's not like our team is in crisis. If you're saying you're bringing him maybe to sort of like join your technical crew, that would be understandable. Same with Yobo, but
he's still playing at this point.
Fine. I mean, that's just by the way. So bringing him back into the team, like we were speaking off camera, to bench who? I mean, in the striking positions, we have so much firepower in front that we don't even know who and who. If we are going for a competition,
in better leagues.
In better leagues, you can't go and bring someone who, I won't call him a spend force, all the way from Saudi Arabia to come back into the team. If he was
enjoying his pension,
exactly. If maybe it was a situation where, like for Sweden, where they had to bring back Zlatan, they had a reason for doing that. At that time, yes, Zlatan had called it quits with the national team, but in the build-up to Euro, he was called back until he sustained an injury and couldn't make it. It was because, looking at the Swedish team, they realized that they didn't have sort of the kind of firepower that they used to have with the absence of Zlatan. So they felt, since Zlatan is still playing in a top league at AC Milan, so that's you can even make a case for that. So they felt, let's bring him back, of which he sustained an injury. But for a case like Igalo, I mean, for crying out loud, you have an Osimhen who is in top form. You have Inupun and Awoni who has banged 7 goals already in 10 games in the Bundesliga so far.
Is also there.
Paul Nacho is on fire. So we have players in that position. Iheanacho too, I mean, he's still doing well. Yes, he hasn't been scoring, but he's still in the mix. So you're bringing Onyekuru is there. Even the Ejuke guy is there. Chukwu is back. I mean, not forgetting that he even scored on his full first debut coming back. So you're bringing Igalo to do what, as an advisor, or maybe they are looking at the situation with Ahmed Musa or what. Ahmed Musa never left the team; he has always been in the team, but not someone who voluntarily left the team, decided on his own that after the Nations Cup he was going to retire, and he did. And now you want to call him back. I think Pinnick should really have a rethink, and I think the fans who are actually against it actually have a point.
Of course, because the fans have a point at this point in time. Salifu, let's get your reaction on this.
Say sometimes in Nigeria football, the more you look, the more you get confused.
The more you look, the less you see.
You don't really understand what is going on. And sometimes it's get to tell you the kind of interest that goes on in Nigeria football and the national team. Is it if it is Genero that is even calling that he wanted the
exactly.
It's understand because he is the coach. Maybe you feel that the strikers are not giving what he wants. But what is the business of the president of Nigeria football? The president administrator interfering in the technical matter. But if he's bringing him, come and join the coaching crew, that is where his capacity. Like, we need to add more bites to the coaching technical crew. Come and sit down or come and study the coach. Go down. But bringing him out to national, just like capacity. Come and do what? Come and play up to come and do what? Just like the coach has said, Nigerian players have been. And I believe the guy will not even listen to that.
He might be the one actually, telling the president.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because Igalo has done something that a reasonable person should do. It just like when you say that you have to leave the scene when the ovation is loud.
Went to the Nations Cup,
the
the
guy
man
was
the highest goal scorer, won the Golden
and
Boot.
so it's the time for him to be quit.
But
So why are you bringing him?
They felt since he's still banging Eagles for his Saudi Arabia club, the World Cup is just a few months away. Hopefully, we might qualify for the World Cup, and maybe he can still go and
No doubt about it. The Gallo as a Nigerian player, he has played his part. He has moved on, and I believe he has moved.
Let the young boys.
We have enough firepower in the striking position. I don't think we need the Gallo in the striking position at the moment.
Of course, talking about firepower at this point in time, you know that Victor Osimhen is the one, banging it goes for his club. Talking about Napoli at this point in time, and the Italian FA are set, to probe those Romans fans who racially, chant at Osimhen in their 0-0 draw against Roma at the weekend. We have actually said it repeatedly on this show. We're talking about racial abuse and all that in Italy. Just so sad about it. Let's see how that gets pans out. Before we end today's edition of Sports Orbit, people look at the news. Coming from Liverpool at this point in time, where Mohamed Salah is saying that he needs £500,000 a week to stay at Liverpool. Alpha, big money.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, he deserves it. But the other side of the coin is, will Liverpool be willing to pay? I mean, apart from
PSG can pay Messi 1 million.
That is Messi. That is Messi.
Is it because he's an African player?
No, that's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. You see, yeah, fine. I mean, in current form, yes, there are arguments about him being the best player, but you're asking for a £500,000 fee. He's 29 years old already. What's the guarantee that next season he'll still be in this kind of form? So, of course, the hierarchy at Liverpool will be thinking a lot of these things, put into consideration.
So, is about 33, and so
no, I agree. No, what I'm saying,
can still be fine.
He is not Lionel Messi. That's the point I'm trying to make. He's not Messi, neither is he Ronaldo. So, but at the end of the day, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He deserves it. I mean, but it depends on if Liverpool, can they afford it? If they feel that, okay, we can actually keep him for another 2-3 seasons and pay him this amount of money. If the club feels that he deserves it and they want to keep him and pay him, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Sorry for with the rate of £500,000 flying right letter center. If I have a kid, even though he's a lady, I'll advise her to go and start play football.
I'm just here looking at what the wish that make me not to play football. Because they can what they're calling
£500,000
not a month, a week. In some week you may not even kick a ball.
Yes, of course.
But your account will be bouncing with 500. But a lot of 500. Bam! Not naira. If you convert 500 pounds to naira, to some state that is more than some budget of some state. Of course, that's what somebody is want to be paid for a week.
That's how
well, that is football. He deserves it just like Alpha say. He deserves it. And I think they shouldn't go for £1 million a week because it's an African player. Other European, European player, I sure the way he's backing. Score a hat-trick against almighty Manchester United
at the Old Trafford.
That is even enough to even argue for more price.
Of course.
I hope Liverpool will listen to what Sally is saying.
At this point in time,
because he was able to add value to ensure that Liverpool deal and deal mercilessly with their greatest rival.
Of course.
So that alone is enough for him to ask for any money.
At this point in time, that's why we are begging, sport administrators in the country for them to actually, do what is actually right to develop, sport in the country, because we know that sport is a very, very, big business, money, spending business that can actually, add to the development of the country, and also it serve as more, more money for the youth who actually make up the huge number of the country. So. This is where we apply the breaks for Sport Orbit today. We must thank Salifo and Alpha for coming on the show today. Yes. Also, our viewers, it was nice to have you, stick with us right from the beginning up to this moment. We say Sport Orbit make a return tomorrow with yet another, bigger and much better edition right here on the Leadership Podcast today. But for now, we're saying do enjoy the rest of your day. You'll have a lovely day. Bye-bye for now, and God bless.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.